how to ship products internationally from China, for example, all the way to the Amazon warehouses in a different country. For sure, you know, this is a very important part of selling on Amazon, actually having the physical product in the Amazon warehouses, or at least in the same country where you intend to sell the product. That's why in this video, I'm interviewing Rael from Zee, and we're going to be discussing everything related to IOR, importing, and shipping your products internationally. Are you ready? Let's get to work. In a few minutes, you're gonna meet Rael, but first, if this is your first time watching a video on this channel, hi, my name is Crystal and I'm the founder of Amazon Sellers Society and Sellers Society. Yes, the name of this podcast, the name of this series is Sellers Society. However, it's not just a podcast or a series. It's actually a software that can help you better manage your Amazon store as well as your Shopify store wherever you sell on every single Amazon marketplace. So if you want to learn things like, are you spending too much money on ads? Should you be increasing your selling price? Is Amazon overcharging you with their FBA fees? Do you want to get reviews on automatic? All of those great things specifically for people who have been selling on Amazon less than 24 months, less than 2 years, then this is the software for you. Then you can go ahead and check out all of the details on sellerssociety.io. Let's jump into the interview. So Rael, thank you so much for spending your afternoon with me. We're going to be discussing all the juicy details relating to shipping, logistics, IOR, so many things that people constantly ask about and comment about on our YouTube channel. But before we get started and before we dissect a little bit all of that information, tell me a little bit more about you. You are the business development manager of Zee. Tell me a little bit more about Zee.
Excellent. Crystal, thank you so much. And hi to all the listeners, and thanks for having me on today. Very excited to be speaking about all these exciting topics in the Amazon world. So a little bit about Zee. We're a compliant importer of record and logistics specialist for Amazon sellers. Our focus really is assisting Amazon sellers into expanding into markets outside of their local marketplace. We see ourselves as the catalyst for global expansion for Amazon sellers. And we've really split our services into 3 core offerings, which we'll get into a little bit later, but that are really the stepping stones outside of the actual management on the Amazon platform of getting your inventory into a new destination country where you're not located so you can start selling internationally.
That's perfect because like I said in the beginning, and you know, so many people comment and so many people reach out to us asking, how do I get my products into this country or that country, even if they do still live in the country where they're selling? Like, for example, even if you live in the UAE and you sell in the UAE, shipping is it's just a mysterious thing that you need to learn. So let's get started with anyone. Let's assume somebody that is an international company or somebody that has a free zone license in the UAE and they can't really be their own importer on record. What is an IOR? Why do you need to know what it is? And how does it essentially function?
Great. So an importer of record is a local business in a destination country that has directors, employees, and a physical presence in that country that gets listed on the import documentation on behalf of a foreign importer and takes on certain liabilities and responsibilities with the local customs office on behalf of that foreign importer. How that relates to Amazon is, and Amazon FBA sellers will know this, they remain the owner of their inventory all the way until it reaches an Amazon fulfillment center. And from there, then Amazon will do the last mile sale and distribution on their behalf. But if they're importing into a country where they aren't located, that makes them a foreign importer. And local customs authorities, including the UAE, require a local importer of record to be listed on the documentation on behalf of the seller, taking on those customs responsibilities and liabilities in order for the goods to clear customs successfully.
Perfectly put. So essentially, that's what you need in order to import products from China or from anywhere to anywhere if you don't live in that country or you don't have the capacity of being your own importer on record. Okay, how does it operate? Correct. If I want to find somebody, if I want to find an IOR company, is it a company that is different than a shipping company? How does it work?
Yeah, so we get this question a lot, what I was saying earlier about the three core offerings of our service, to touch on this point, two of them are an importer of record service as well as value-added logistics. And often we get the question, how do we differ from a freight forwarder? So a freight forwarder is solely responsible for the pickup of inventory from the export country, arranging the international freight, and then doing local delivery in the local country. Freight forwarders generally book a space on a ship or an airplane, that are owned by different companies. And then they have an agent, a local agent in the destination country who they partner with to do the local delivery leg. The one piece that's missing is the customs clearance. And that's really what an importer of record is responsible for. And that's the service we're providing to our clients is we prepare all the customs documentation required for the customs clearance. We pass that on to our specialized brokers in all of our different countries. They submit that to customs, pay over the duties and taxes on behalf of the seller to make sure that the goods actually clear customs. If you arrange freight to an international country where you aren't located with a freight forwarder, there is a high risk that your goods get stuck at customs at that country because there's no entity taking responsibility for your import, and most freight forwarders won't do that.
Very clear and very true as well. So would it be a service that is outside of shipping? So it's not related to shipping, basically, just to clarify.
Well, they linked, but like I say, the shipping companies and freight forwarders, they don't want to take on customs liability. We've made it our business to take on customs liability. So the way that we offer logistics is by partnering with various freight forwarders and couriers around the world. So essentially a seller can come to us and say, okay, great. I'm based in the UAE. I want to sell in the US. My products are made in China. They give us all the information we need for their shipment. We arrange the pickup through our partnership with our freight forwarder. The freight forwarder delivers the goods to the USA. We perform the customs clearance, pay over the duties and taxes, take on that liability on behalf of the seller, and then the freight forwarder will then take on local delivery as well. We've also provided some versatility to our client base where we do understand that some of our clients use their own freight forwarders. They have established relationships, agreed rates, etc. So we'll actually work very closely with the client's freight forwarder to arrange for the customs clearance once the goods arrive in country, meaning we don't take on the responsibility for picking up or arranging the pickup and delivery, but we do take on the customs liability once the goods have arrived.
Perfect. It's very, very clear. Thank you for clarifying that. Where do your services actually operate? And I know you are now very much focused on the Middle East, and that's why we're working together. But where do you also, because we were discussing the fact that a lot of sellers based in the Middle East, in the MENA region, are very interested, but they find it a little bit daunting to expand beyond the area that they know, which is the Middle East, and how they can expand to Europe as well as the US potentially. So where do you guys operate and where do you provide your services? Everywhere.
I think to provide comfort to your listeners, it's not particular to sellers in the UAE or in the Middle East. Sellers all over the world, the minute they even, we work very closely with a top 100 seller in the US. He's a guy by the name of Scott Needham. He runs his own software analytics company for Amazon sellers as well. And, him being a top 100 seller in the US was pretty afraid to try any new market outside of the US just because of how daunting it seems. And, a guy that's starting out all the way to a top 100 US seller, it does feel daunting, right? And that's fine. We've come into the market to make that less daunting and to give us that responsibility for our sellers. So to answer your question directly, our services are offered in all of Amazon's major marketplaces. I'll list them for you. So, and pretty much in the order of the size of the market. So the United States, the UK, Germany, and the 5 other pan-European program countries being France, Italy, Spain, Poland, Czech Republic. Then there's Japan, Australia, Canada, and the UAE, and soon to be Singapore and Saudi Arabia.
Yes, Saudi Arabia is something that everybody's waiting for. We're waiting for you to be in that area, in that market for sure. So, Rael, what do you find are common mistakes that you find your clients and Amazon sellers make when they are shipping products and when they are going through this process of sending units over to a new market? Is there like are there best practices? Do you find some common mistakes that you can tell us about so people might be aware of them and not make them, if possible?
Yeah, sure. So I think that brings me to one of the, I was talking about the 3 core services that we offer. We've spoken about import of record. We've spoken about logistics. In terms of mistakes, if you want to call them that, that brings us to the third part of our service offering, or core part of our offering. It actually comes as the first part of the service is product compliance. So that means, I want to sell, electronic products in the EU, as an example. In order to be able to do that successfully, your products need a CE marking. They need a responsible person. They need a WEEE directive. I can go on. And those are the types of things where sellers, it's kind of a case of you don't know what you don't know. So in order to get your, the way that we see it is you need to get your products legal for sale and legal for import into whichever country that you're looking to sell. And we offer that as a core service. We take our client, we do an assessment of our client's products, understand what they are, where they need to be sold. We do a gap analysis to see what the client has and what they don't have. And then whatever they don't have, we can actually assist them in obtaining. Yeah. I think it can be a lengthy process sometimes, because there can be a little bit of back and forth, but we do want to set up our clients in a compliant way. And if the client is really willing to work with us, we'll get them compliant to sell in whichever country that they're looking to go to.
You're 100% right. There are a lot of products that are very interesting, but once you discover, and a lot of people are excited to sell those products, and then when they discover, they discover that those are products that would require additional regulation, they might not need anything in the UAE as an example, but they definitely need that compliance once you think about selling them in the EU. So yeah, you would need somebody. I guess you would be the perfect company to contact, because you are going to be the IOR, meaning you're going to be responsible to be able to import those products. So you would know you are the best company to contact related to compliance.
Absolutely. And I can add to that as well. The compliance process is actually an ongoing thing. And so laws change. Clients may want to add new products to that specific country that they're looking to sell to. So we've developed our product where the client is constantly kept up to date about any kind of legislative changes or any changes that need to be made to product labels or whatever the case may be. And we've given them the opportunity to say, hey, the minute you want to sell a new product in this particular country, we can then actually add that and get you compliant and get you selling with that product. It's part of the model that we've built out.
Wonderful. Perfect. What about inventory management? What tips can you give someone when it comes to inventory management when you're shipping to a new market? And as you know, you've got a certain limit of how many units you can send over to the Amazon warehouses if it's a brand new, or the Amazon fulfillment center if it's a brand new account. And the reason why I wanted to ask you this question is because I want everyone to know that Zee works with all level of Amazon sellers. So you work with the small brand new sellers. You also work with huge sellers and large corporations as well. So you have that knowledge so it's not like a company, you're not a company that only works with large sellers, and you work with everyone, which is very refreshing. So what do you think about inventory management? What do people need to do? Do you have any tips?
Yeah, I think so. Inventory management it all comes down to how the seller wants to set up their supply chain. If you're an established seller in your local market and you know that your products are successful there, and you've done a little bit of research getting into your new markets, and you can send full container loads to your next destination country, even though Amazon may not accept all of that inventory. The way you would then set up your supply chain is by contracting with a 3PL to temporarily store your product and drip feed Amazon as you want to go. For the newer sellers that are getting into new markets, Amazon generally have an inventory limit of between 200 and 250 units per ASIN. It does depend on the destination country. That can increase also depending on the seller's home ranking, how well their products sell in their local market. For any new time sellers or new market, going into a new market, generally we say, look, keep to your stock limit, send the 200 to 250 units, even though it may not be at the target margin that you're looking to reach at that point. Get the inventory into a fulfillment center, or let us get the inventory into the fulfillment center, even better for you. Start your sales, increase your RPI score, let your inventory start to turn at Amazon, learn that you can actually sell in that country. Then Amazon will increase your stock limits, and then so forth. Your economies of scale kick in. You can start looking at alternative freight methods to get your products there, etc. And we really are there to help you along that journey and that process.
Thank you so much to Rael and the whole Zee team. If you want to get in direct contact with Rael and Zee, I will leave all of their information in the description box of this video. Also, make sure that you click the thumbs up button, leave us a comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you in another video with more information. Bye.